Hi everyone, welcome to the muster drill. I'm Scott. I just spent 3 days on MSC Meraviglia and I've got a lot to talk about. Hi everyone, welcome back. So with all of the things that happened on the MSC Meraviglia in 3 days, you would swear that I was on that ship for a month. So this was my first time sailing MSC. I've wanted to sail them for a very long time, but then this little really not well-known thing happened and it caused the entire world to shut down for multiple years. So I never got around to it. Now this was a short 3-day itinerary. We went to Nassau, then we went to Ocean Cay, MSC's private island in the Bahamas, and then back to Port Canaveral. And it was kind of a last minute thing for me. I just kind of squeezed it in there before my upcoming cruise on the Harmony of the Seas. I can't even begin to tell you how eventful this 3 days was. I've made a short list here of some of the things that I observed about MSC that I think are different than the other cruise lines, as well as some things I liked and didn't like. And then I'm also going to throw in some comments from the Meraviglia's Facebook group. But spoiler alert, many people on the Facebook group were not happy. Now, I'm sure most of us would agree that from a concept point of view, cruising, no matter what cruise ship or cruise line you're on, is very similar. Royal Caribbean and Carnival have made some updates to some of their procedures and policies lately. Most notably, the muster drill is obviously nowhere near the ordeal that it used to be. And one of the things that I noticed during the restart was our cards were now placed in an envelope outside the stateroom, so you just more or less got on the ship and went straight to your room, got your card, and you were ready to go. So with MSC, you do still get your ship card in the terminal during the check-in process. However, like the other lines, they have also modernized their muster drill process, but in my opinion, it's significantly different than the other lines. So with MSC, you are instructed to go back to your stateroom, tune to channel 5 on the TV, watch the safety video, then pick up your phone and dial extension 881. You get a recording that your response has been recorded, and then you're told to proceed to whatever muster station is written on your card. It's also on the back of the door in your cabin. Mine happened to be B, so you go down there, they scan your card, and you're done. Now, I'd also mentioned this in my cruise day video for the MSC Meraviglia that, unlike the other lines, if you do not attend the safety briefing or the muster drill, they hold another one the next day and then they run around the ship looking for you because they know exactly who didn't show up the first time. They find you and they make you go there and do it before you can get off the ship at any of the ports. And that is very different than the other lines. One thing that was a little upsetting to me is they serve a iced tea and some flavored waters throughout the day. They also have the standard breakfast juices available in the morning. However, they switched to just plain water after 10 p.m. and I kind of wasn't digging that. Now, another thing I didn't like is on the MSC Meraviglia, they have a club or a venue that I think is very similar to the 270 Club on Royal Caribbean's Quantum class ships. When I arrived at the Carousel Club on the Meraviglia to see one of the two Cirque du Soleil style shows, I was informed by the crew member that this was a premium show and that it would cost me $18 to get in. And I thought to myself, how very NCL of them. So before I go on any further, I'm going to show some posts from the Facebook group, and even though there were some positive posts in the Facebook group, I can tell you the vast majority of them are negative. I also had many conversations with my fellow cruisers, and most of them really had nothing good to say about their entire experience. So as I had mentioned, that was just a handful of posts I found in the Facebook group. There were so many more, and they were all negative. There was also a big argument between quite a few passengers in the Facebook group about how upset they were that the people who were in Yacht Club were getting so much special treatment and were being sent to the front of every line because there were lots of lines on this ship for lots of different things. And of course, the Yacht Club people didn't have to wait. It's similar to the people who are in the high-end suites on Royal Caribbean. If you didn't see my Genie and the Elevator issue from the Oasis of the Seas back in May of 2022, I'll leave a link up here in the corner. You can check that video out. I sort of agree with some of these people about this whole kind of return to the classes on cruise ships, but I'm not going to talk about that on this video. There was also always a super long line at guest services, people constantly complaining about charges on their onboard accounts that were not recognized or that were just completely, totally bogus. And from what I could tell, most of the time MSC was just removing those charges. But it's a shame that so many people had to stand in that line, sometimes multiple times throughout just a 3-day cruise, to make sure that they were not charged for things that they didn't do. So another thing I want to talk about today is the MSC Loyalty Status Match. MSC's loyalty program, the Voyagers Club, they will status match whatever your loyalty level is on another cruise line and some of the higher end hotel groups like Hilton and Marriott. So before your cruise, you go onto MSC's website, you fill out a form, you upload proof of what your loyalty level is with another cruise line or one of the hotel groups, and then they will status match to whatever that equals in their Voyagers Club. So the Voyagers Club levels are Welcome, Classic, Silver, Gold, and Diamond. Diamond is sometimes referred as the MSC Black Card, and the Welcome Card is similar to Carnival's Blue Card. You only get that on your first cruise. I submitted my form with proof of my Royal Caribbean Diamond status, and in turn, I was given Gold. However, when I got on the Meraviglia, I noticed that the card they gave me in the terminal was the Welcome Card. And when I went to guest services, they told me I needed to show them proof that I had received an email from MSC telling me that they status matched me to Gold. I didn't have the internet package on the Meraviglia, so I couldn't show them the email. On the last day of the cruise, I found out that I could go to their next cruise or their future cruise desk and speak to somebody there about looking up what my status was in the Voyagers Club. When I did that, they confirmed that I was Gold, they contacted guest services, and they gave me an updated ship card that showed that I was Gold status, but by then I had missed out on all of the perks that the Gold status was supposed to give me when I first got on board. So some of the positive things I want to talk about is the Meraviglia is an absolute beautiful, beautiful ship. Very similar to, in my opinion, the Quantum class for Royal Caribbean. Very well laid out, very well designed, beautifully decorated and appointed, just really a great, great ship. The food on MSC Meraviglia was outstanding. There was so much selection, so much variety. They had tons of specialty restaurants, and whether you were eating in the dining room or the buffet, the quality of everything was amazing. And lately, I have yet to see that on any other line. Now on this cruise, I only had a standard interior cabin, and that was absolutely spacious. The bed was really comfortable. MSC provides 2 different styles of pillows, a really firm one and a fluffy one. And I tell you, there was so much room. The bathroom was beautiful. It was laid out well. I thought it was pretty spacious for cruise ship standards. There was so much room between the foot of my bed and the wall of the front of the cabin that I could lay down, put my arms straight above me, and I would not be touching at either end. And that is very unusual for an interior cabin, no matter how new or big the ship is. I mentioned in my cruise day video about the absolute nightmare experience we all had getting on board. It took me 4.5 hours to get on board. And we did not leave Port Canaveral until after 9 p.m. and we were scheduled to leave at 5. So unlike Carnival, MSC sent a letter to everyone the second night of the cruise apologizing for the situation and gave everybody $50 of onboard credit. Now, I don't think that any amount of money can really make up for what everybody had to go through getting on the ship, but it was a nice gesture and it was definitely something that the other cruise lines have not done. So one of the things I really love about the Meraviglia is this screen that is on their interior promenade deck. It's very similar to the one on Fairmont Street in Las Vegas. It was constantly changing and it was really something unique that I've never experienced on any other cruise ship. So the show in the main theater on the Meraviglia was absolutely fantastic, and in my opinion, it had an incredible production value. Definitely something that you're not gonna see on any Carnival ship since the restart. Florida weather. So the last thing I wanted to mention is we had just as much trouble getting off the Meraviglia as we did getting on. It took me 5 hours to get off. This happened because of two things. One, for some reason, all 5,000 passengers decided to use express checkout, which made it impossible for that to be express. The second thing is a bunch of people tried to get off the ship without paying their bill. And of course they were stopped, and as a result, they started a big fight about it or a big issue with the crew. And they had to bring the Brevard County Sheriff's Department in, stop the disembarkation, and deal with that entire situation. So I don't fault MSC for that, but it definitely was the cherry on the cake of the entire cruise. So even though a lot of people said that they would never sail MSC ever again, I will probably give them at least another shot, because I don't think that the issues that we experienced were any different or were somehow never going to be experienced on other cruise lines. And it was only a 3-day cruise, so I really feel like I want to give them 7 days. And I definitely want to check out a couple of their other ships. So I think that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you like this video, don't forget to click that like button. And then don't forget to click the subscribe button. It won't cost you anything. You click it once and you're done, and it'll really help us out a lot. And then don't forget to click that notification bell so that you know every time we upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.